Nice meeting you, everybody online. This is Jason. I'm the general manager and the founder from Smarter. Before we start, we'd like to have two polls we have prepared to letting everybody to vote. So Arena, please show the polls, the first poll, and along the way, we are going to see which market we are going to. We give everybody a few seconds to vote for that. Which Asian market you think is most opportunity in 2026? Yeah, I think it's that. Yeah, we can show the result. Japan and China and South Korea. Cool. And next one, we have a pool number 2. Please show the pool number 2 Arena. Number 2 is what is our biggest obstacles to expansion to Asia? Okay, I think it's good enough. We can see the result. Culture nonsense, yeah, regulations, localizations, data. Thank you very much, and let's start. I think all these points we are going to cover in the later presentation. And a little bit introduction regarding myself. I'm the founder and the GM of Smarter. Essentially, our business, we are helping our clients to do the app ranking optimizations and app growth, especially in the APAC market. And previously, I was working at Oracle and Salesforce and BranchMetrics. I was the founding member of BranchMetrics to enter China market. We helped BranchMetrics to enter China within a very short period of time and expansion of our team from 4 folks into 20 within about 6 months. And so far, we have helped more than 200 apps that going from APAC going to global market. This is first number one. Asian and the Western world, how much difference are there? Are they so different? Answer is yes. If you see the European market, US market, and the China market, if you see simply from the regular apps that we use, it's quite different. Normally in the European market, we have all the super individual apps, but targeting in different purposes, such as Spotify we're using for music, LinkedIn we're searching for recruiting and career development. In US market, we use different apps, and in China, we use something quite different. If you are coming from the European market or the US market, I'm sure you have very few apps that you know in China or the other part of Asia. Sorry. And if we look into these two markets, right, especially particular from China and the West culture, one thing is quite different is in China, especially in China, actually we are trying to build everything in one, what we call all-in-one apps or the all-in-one platforms, such as we have a lot of super apps like WeChat that we use for social, Alipay we use to, on top of we do the online shopping and payment, and the Meituan we used for the deliveries and the grocery deliveries. However, compared to the Western cultures, normally actually we have each individual apps for individual purposes, such as Amazon we use for shopping, Uber we used for transportations, WhatsApp for messenger only. So these two kind of systems is quite different. And if we look into further, based on the challenges that if you are a European market, European company or you're a USA companies trying to enter Asia market, a lot of challenges that we are going to face. I put into different aspects that we may analyze a little bit further. But as a summary that we have, which you may have to face, number one is the culture, as you mentioned in the post. Culture and communications is the biggest challenge. Number two is the talents and local expertise to recruiting, form a team, how do you form a team in the local market. Number three is the product-wise. How do you design your products to satisfy the local market in order to satisfy the super difference between the Western kind of apps into Asia, bring them into Asia. Number four is pricing. Pricing is quite sensitive, especially in China and the Southeast Asia market. Currently, I'm living in Singapore, so Southeast Asia market is also quite a price-sensitive market. Number five is the complex regulations. Regulations is quite a big headache for Western entrepreneurs and app developers to enter China market and the other Asian market. And besides this, actually, there's one thing I didn't put, but I really like to speak, which is actually the so-called arrogant and ignorant regarding actually Asian market that especially for the Western kind of entrepreneurs trying to enter this market. This is the quite a regular issues we are going to see and the common mistakes you may face. What exactly is the difference? Let's see one by one. No worry, we have many characters over here, but please just follow my logic over here. Number one is the culture. Culture is quite a big thing. I give you example here. Sometimes actually for Asian people, when we say yes, actually the true meaning is maybe, and when we say maybe, the true meaning is no. It's quite diplomatic. It's quite different from the the European kind of culture or the US cultures. People say yes means yes. People say no means no. It's quite different. So normally the culture in Asia is quite hidden. So you have to understand what is the hidden meanings over there. And the other thing is, since I have the experiences, personal experiences to helping Salesforce, Oracle, and branch managers to enter China market, we see a lot of issues between the so-called bi-cultural issues, especially from the headquarters and the local teams. Normally, how do we do this? Later, I would tell. We strongly suggest you to recruit a very robust local teams in order to solve all the local issues, instead of having the so-called higher ranking officers sit in the headquarters to solve all this. It's quite different. You have to have a very dedicated team to support for local businesses and support the local customers in the local market. Second one is product. We see many things that happens because of products. Let me ask one simple question. Let's say do you know what is the number one payment channels that you are going to have in China? If anybody knows, you can tap into the chatting group. Number one is you can choose Alipay or WeChat, but which one is the biggest? Now, yes, WeChat is number one. WeChat, how many users? If I ask you this further questions, how many users are there for WeChat Pay? Anybody? Yeah, I think this is the number is quite varies. Normally it's 1.4 billion users that for WeChat Pay in China, and how many users for Alipay? Anybody knows? Yeah, more than 1 billion users for Alipay. So payment channels is quite a big difference between the European and USA apps compared to Asia apps. What is the biggest channels for Indonesia, if anybody knows? It's called GoPay. That is the number one in Indonesia. So if you like to have a product to enter China or the other Asian market very smoothly, you got to understand what is the local systems that you're supposed to have to use. The other one is the UX design. Actually, Asia users are actually looking for products which has a lot of feature rich, which means you'd better have the super app with a lot of features built inside. So therefore, actually, you could have cover more users from different perspectives. That is the so-called more friendly kind of apps compared to you have in US and the European market. Third one is the pricing. This one pricing is a quite a big issue also. And I'd like to share some insights why the pricing is actually normally the local competitors will offer extremely low price compared to the Western, let's say you have compared to European and USA users. Why the prices could be so low? Reason that actually, for example, I was born and raised up in China, but I came to Singapore at about 20 years ago. And when I was a boy, grew up in China, actually in every China cities, normally there's a place that's selling the softwares. And for that softwares, actually it's a parrot softwares, which means it's not the right version. So therefore, actually the price we have normally is just, for example, if we buy a Microsoft Office suite, normally the price we have in China is just about 5 RMB, for instance. But if you buy the same kind of software back in US, normally the price is 3,000 US dollars. So therefore, as a result, right, in our mindset, softwares or applications supposed to be very cheap. You'd better offer me the applications or the softwares for free. That is the best way. And they really don't understand why you could ask for such a high price for software or applications. So as a result, right, if you compare the price difference, you always see that in China or the other Asian market, normally the price compared to US and the European market, the price often you can expect a 5 to 10 times of cheaper price compared to the Western kind of the pricing models. Therefore, I always suggest either you give them a bigger discount, really deep discount compared to what we have in US or the Europe, or you're building something another kind of a business pricing models for the local customers or the local vendors you have. Otherwise, you're always going to face a very crucial kind of a pricing competitions with the local competitors. And the local competitors always give them offer a very low price. That is always something that you almost 100% time you're going to face. Last one is the regulations. Regulation, as you know, that China has banned a lot of apps or the internet companies such as Google and Facebook. And somebody doesn't know that even LinkedIn actually is banned in China, which means people cannot use LinkedIn in China, although it's some kind of a career kind of social networks because of the China laws. And based on my true experiences, if you like to you enter this market, such as China, you have to follow the regulations. And by follow the regulations, sometimes you have to be honest, you have to give up certain kind of principles you follow. And if you really cannot give up all those principles, what I suggest really to do is you really consider whether you need to enter China market or Asian market, because this market is not so open, highly regulated. Sometimes you have to give the right of the data and the regulations kind of rights. So that is something a lot of times for the Western apps or the entrepreneurs trying to enter China or enter the other Asia part, they have to face. The regulations, behind the regulations, it's the value systems. You have to understand the value systems and see whether you really like to give up the principles behind. And for if you decide to enter this market, right, a few ways and a few channels that you can do UA. Number one is Apple Search Ads, or the Apple Ads. Normally, this is widely used in the whole Asia, including China, Japan, Korea, and Southeast Asia, and South Asia, such as India and the other part. And this part is actually highly useful. I'm sure the people online is quite expert on this. It's highly suitable for the usage for the keyword search in App Store, and also for the high LTV kind of apps in order to recruit for the users. But compared to the other part, actually Google Ads and the Meta Ads actually is banned in China. So which means if you like to enter China market, you cannot publish for the Apple Ads and the Google Ads in China, but you can do something else. But out of China, excluding China, you can still do the Meta Ads and the Google Ads campaigns to publish the market. Considering since Google Play is blocked in China, which means you cannot use Google Play, user cannot use Google Play in China, but you can use some other Play stores such as Huawei Store, Xiaomi Store, Oppo, and Vivo. So all those OEM stores actually you can use. So therefore, actually, it's a kind of a replacement of a Google Play. But if you like to have the store traffic, you can contact with all these OEM stores. The other one is also quite localized, such as Douyin, which is the local version of TikTok. Kuaishou, in overseas called Kuai, which is a low-ending version of TikTok, and WeChat ecosystems. So all these are the local kind of traffics you can consider in order to put into your campaign channels. And how do we succeed? Although we have so many challenges, as a kind of a solution summarize, there are 3 points which I think is really important and a lot of entrepreneurs doesn't put into considerations. Number one, if there's only one thing I like to say, and I really like to emphasize, is this: the long-term commitment. I think before we enter China market, right, you really need to have the determinations or make the decisions first, whether I like to enter this Asian market or China market or Japan market. Make decisions first rather than do a trial or do a testing. If you do the testing, if you just do the testing in order to see whether, let's do a 12-month testing to see whether China market is the right market, Japan market is the right market, I guarantee you 90% of the chance you're going to lose for that. The right way is try to make a decision first. Make sure that we do the statistics. Make sure that this market, Asian market, is the market that we are going to enter in the next 2 to 3 years. Is the market that we are going to emphasize as our important sectors we are going to enter in the next 2 to 3 years. With this kind of determinations, therefore we can do that. Not only the time, enough sufficient time, but also the sufficient budget. Put into enough resources in order to recruit for so-called highly talented or what we call the responsible enough kind of team. Therefore, at the local support the local market. Second one is we must have local teams built into considerations. For instance, the ideal case is what we did successfully previously at Branch Metrics is we have these local teams with bilingual, bicultural leaders that we help Branch Magics to enter China market. And the founding members we have is quite a, what do we call, understand the cultures between Western cultures and China cultures, and also who understand the ecosystems, the app growth very well. So therefore, within very short period, actually can build a team and conquer the market. This is quite the key that why we can win at the very beginning. The other one is actually the collaborations between the headquarters and the local teams. This is also very important. You must give enough kind of authorities or let them to give enough insights and follow their insights to change your products, change the whole processes. So therefore, you could have a good result. Otherwise, if you just follow, let's say, the US kind of the culture or the processes to rule the China market or the Asian market, I guarantee you, you are going to have a big challenges out there. So in order to do that, trust the team that you built, and make sure that the team is qualified to do this market. I think this is the key element that why we could did very well for Branch Magics at the very beginning in China market. Third one is deeply optimize the localizations of your product. Not only the UX, but the content and the pricing, everything actually all the logic behind. So this is actually I would say one of the key reasons why a lot of big apps they don't enter China market very well, such as Airbnb, such as Uber's. Although they enter China market in the early stage, but they don't localize their products deeply enough. So therefore, they are conquered by their competitors, normally within 1 to 2 years' time, and they leave the market after that. So if you like to make the determined, and make the commitment based on that, and do the deeply so-called categorize and change of the product, I think it's a high chance that you could have a good competition positions compared to the competitors in the local market. And if we see not only for the brands that enter China enter Asia, Asia brands are also actually currently in the wave of going out, which is trying to enter into European and US market, such as Temu, such as Shein, such as TikTok. All these are actually the China brands, but they're trying to get into global market with a very successful cases. Temu is very popular in the shopping. Shein is the fashion and the shopping. TikTok is entertainment. So all these brands actually they all follow one principles over here, which I think everybody, if you are trying to enter Asian market, can follow. The product strength plus market adoption plus big budgets. So you have a very good product with a strength kind of a value propositions, and you adopt the market, no matter it's global market or Asian market, make the localizations with the big budgets, which means a lot of resources put into. If you could follow these principles, I think the chance of getting successful in the local market, in Asian market, would be quite high. And along the way, actually, when you are trying to do this, AI could help you in different perspectives. Number one is research. Before you enter China market, for instance, you can ask ChatGPT which country actually is the best way to enter. Whether it's if it is we just come into Asia, whether Singapore is a better market because it's English speaking, and it's a China local culture kind of a mix. Number two, we can recruit for the talents using AI technology. For instance, we can use AI to help our HR to find a bilingual and bicultural kind of candidates and the leaders, build the local teams in order to fast and rapidly build our teams. Number three is localizations, such as language translations and testing and personalization content that we can use AI to formalize all this within a very short period of time. And the last one is pricing and go-to-market strategy. And we can simulate the models and try to build the pricing within the very short period of time. Therefore, we can try to pricing it correctly in order to compare to our competitors. Always remember your competitors in Asia is going to price normally 1/5 or 1/10 of the price that compared to in the US or European market. And currently, actually, SpeedMetrics has a very good tool that you can put into consideration called Aries. Aries is a very good tool for you to analyze all your competitors and do the market research, understand your own apps in the certain market. For instance, we can let Aries to analyze compared to my product, my app, into the China market competitors or the Japan market competitors. What is my strength? What is my strategy supposed to change based on this? Iris is a good tool, a good AI agent for you to analyze all the data with the very powerful kind of a database we have already built in SpeedMetrics trying to do this. And if you have a good kind of interest, you can contact with SpeedMetrics. We can offer you a trial in order to let you do testing areas, whether we can help you to enter into Asian market or the other world. And we also give you kind of a suggestion if you like to enter Asian market, how to enter this market within very some kind of a sensible period, sensible timeline, like 90 days. The first 2 weeks actually trying to validate the category and build local experts. And the next 30 days actually trying to analyze the competitions and categorize and localize your UX and the pricing models. And the next 15 days actually trying to testing your local creatives, find the influencers and do the collaborations. And after that, we try to do the soft launch and measure transactions. This process actually is quite ideal, but along the way, I think it takes you more time in order to understand the market before that, and do a lot of statistics, trying to understand the market and make the determinations, as I mentioned, make the commitment before you start the whole process over here. And this is my kind of experiences. If you could follow this, the Asia, the rules, which is make the determinations, make the local teams, and make the localization for products. Normally, Asian market actually is going to reward your persistence. Give it certain times, 2 to 3 years, and stay for a long time. And normally, you are going to see the result. Yeah, that is the commitment as mentioned. Yeah, thank you. This is normally the whole process we have. And if you like to understand Asia further and regarding especially for SpeedMetrics in Asian market or the other part of the product to enter Asian market, you can always contact with me on LinkedIn. You can find me on LinkedIn at Smarter, Jason Lee. You can find me from over there and we can have a chat online. Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah.
Thank you, Jason. Thanks so much for the deep dive. Honestly, such a valuable and actionable insights for anyone thinking about market expansion. So truly a big thanks. You can definitely feel free, as Jason said, to reach out to the team for some tips on your expansion strategy. And for those of you wondering as well, we will be sharing all the recordings with all of you. So you surely will be able to review this once again and make sure you didn't miss any important information. Now, I see we still have 6 minutes left. So maybe we can open the chat for a few questions if anyone have something on their minds. Jason is open for a live Q&A at the moment. Feel free to drop your questions. Okay, amazing. And I see we already got one in the chat. Jason, from your experience, what's the biggest misconception Western teams have about entering Asia?
Yeah, I think good question. I give you a very, very honest answers. That is the expectation settings, really. The expectation setting in the way that if I answer you directly and honestly, that is I always feel especially for the US companies, they have a kind of arrogant and really, as mentioned, arrogant and ignorant kind of feelings about themselves. They always feel themselves as we are very successful in US, we are very successful in the other global countries and the other part. We could have the same kind of a strategy to work in China or in the other part of Asia. That is totally wrong. Based on my 10 years, actually almost 15 years of experiences, what I see is totally wrong. It's you have to re-understand the whole systems, and the value system behind Western and China and Asia is quite different. For instance, China, in my sense, is not a very honest market. To be honest, it's not a very honest market. So you have to actually understand this, and trying to you are going to expect a lot of very crucial competitions, and your competitors may not be very honest, like what you do in US and the European market. So you have to understand the market and trying to follow the market and follow their rules. And a lot of times, actually, you have to change yourself based on the local cultures of here.
Brilliant. Thank you so much for your comment, Jason. And thanks, Seni, for the question. Also, we have a new one from Kotar asking, what's the winning strategy for Asia for Apple Ads to grow non-brand campaigns, and what works and does not work?
Elena, I see there's another question. Later, I come back to you. I answer this quarter question first. What is the winning strategy for Asian employers to grow no brand, non-brand?
You have another one how do you explain to a Western product team that their clean, minimalistic design might feel too empty for Asian users?
Yeah, good question. I think it's a very good point. Let's say I think Apple, I totally agree with you. Apple OS is more suitable for the apps who has already very good robust branding in the market. So therefore, people can search for the branding keywords and therefore find your apps. And however, if you don't have this branding campaigns over there, what I suggest you to do is try to use the other local traffics, such as if you are doing this in China, try to do certain kind of app campaigns in Douyin, which is the local version of TikTok, and Kuaishou, something like that. And if you're doing in the Southeast Asia market, you can do the local traffic, trying to do the apps in the other campaigns first, in order to build your brand into a very robust kind of a brand. Therefore, you can use Apple Search Ads to do that. And in certain market, such as Korea, actually the story is different. You have to do the offline kind of campaigns, such as the brand the ads bot. You have to go to the offline and talking to that paste the ads over there on the street. So therefore, I know a lot of gaming kind of companies are doing that. So therefore, after people knows your product, they know your brand. Apple Search Ads is a good channel for them. Yeah. The other question is how do you explain to a Western product team that their clean mindset design may feel too empty for Asian users? Very good question. Very tough, honestly, very tough. Well, I give you a hint. What I suggest you to do is like this. You try to find a good product manager who has ideally this guy is supposed to be born in China or in Asia, and he was educated in US or European market and lived there for let's say more than 10 years. Try to recruit a person like this and let him to explain to the team this question. That'll be a better way. And ideally, this person is supposed to be based in your headquarters rather than based in China or the Asia countries. If he's based in Asia and long distance kind of explanation is also very tough. So ideally, what I suggest is you find a person like this. He was born in Asia, got educated in European market or US market, and he's working based in the headquarters. This is the ideal case. You can find this person and explain all these issues. Your question is just one kind of questions, but I'm sure if you decide to enter China, you are going to have dozens of questions like this. And in order to answer all these dozens of questions, you'd better find the right person in order to do this, rather than ask a Western PM to do this, do the research by themselves. It's very tough.
Okay, brilliant. Thank you, Jason. Thanks for your contributions. We will wrap up here. We are just on time now. We are taking a little break and join us back at 4:45 CET time, where we step up into our next presentation with top creative optimization trends with Splitmetrics US partnership lead Alisa and Shah, senior partner development manager at AppsFlyer. Jason, once again, thanks so much for your presentation. Thanks to the audience for all the questions, and I will see you all very soon.